Hi, how y'all doing? I'm Private Corey McCue, and I'm just going to take a minute or two of your time just to let you know a little bit about myself. I was born in 1987 to Colleen McCue and David Schwab. They both met in the Army. I was born on an Army base, in fact, in New Jersey, Fort Dix. And shortly after I was born, their obligations to the Army were over. They were up, so they kind of went their separate ways. My dad went back to his hometown in Simi Valley, California. My mom back to her hometown in Port Charlotte, Florida. And that really left me with an interesting childhood because I was on planes back and forth throughout my whole life between each coast of the United States. So at the time, of course, I thought it was a horrible thing, and I complained and whined about it, just like any child does, you know what I mean. But really, I didn't see it was kind of a blessing in disguise, almost, is the way I look at it now, because of the experience that I got. I mean, I got to experience two different sides of the country growing up, and that's something, very few kids even get to leave their hometown when they grow up. So I now look at that as kind of just another experience, just another brick in the wall, if you will. But shortly after my, I moved around throughout my childhood, and then I finally resided permanently in well, I guess you could kind of say permanently, in Simi Valley, California, with my dad right before high school started. Had an average high school years, just like any kid. Played some football, had some fun, dated some girls, and shortly after I was out of high school, I started this job touring for bands. I got to tour for the Foo Fighters and tour with Tenacious D. I was setting up their lights. It was a very interesting job. Got to see all the country. Got to see a couple spots in Canada. It was good times. But I decided that it just wasn't the job for me, so I quit it, and I wanted to go back home and be more centrally located back at home in Simi Valley, California. Got a job working with my buddy's dad, and he hooked me up with this cool job. I was doing telephones, working subcontracting for AT&T. It was a lot of fun, but I just kind of had this itch that I wanted to scratch ever since I was 13, if you will, and this was just, I kind of always really wanted to join the Army. So finally, I went in, I talked to a recruiter, decided I was going to do it, and this, it was a decently drawn out long process to do. It was, a lot longer than I thought it'd take. I always thought it was kind of just go in and sign the paper and you're in the Army, but no, it's not like that. There's tests and physicals and all kinds of stuff you have to do to go through to do it. But eventually, I finally did it. I was signed up, and there was this girl I was with at the time as I was signing up, and we really did, our future was kind of uncertain. We didn't know what we were going to do. We just knew that we were really connected, and we really liked each other. So I ended up leaving for basic, and I called her right when I got there, and I said, you know what, I don't want to lose you over the Army, and I wanted to marry her. I told her I wanted to marry her. So we decided that once I got back from basic and I went on leave, that we would get married. And so I went to basic. It was 9.5 weeks of, just everything you hear about basic training. You got people screaming at you, you're doing the push-ups, you're doing the sit-ups, the obstacle courses, and so on and so forth. And it was an experience nonetheless. It was definitely an experience. But I got back from basic, married my wife. Our wedding present from the Army was a nice little trip here to South Korea. So, I mean, you just got to roll with the punches. You can't really always predict what's going to happen in life. Sometimes, life gives you lemons, you make some lemonade, right? And the best thing you can really do is just take each experience as it comes, because that's all life is, just a whole bunch of experiences, and it's not necessarily always about the experiences you have, but what you take from them. And yeah, that's basically what I've learned in my 21 years on this earth. Thank you for your time, and thank you for listening. I really appreciate it.